Alright, we should be live. We're back. We're working on Ertha Joe. Here she is, in case you haven't seen her. And we finished with the Brothers War last time, so we're starting with the Dark. Because it's all the thes now. Alright. Actually, we might get some stuff from the Dark. I don't think Witch Hunter would make it, but we might want Preacher. We'll have to see. I can grab a Blood Moon just to be a jerk. All creatures get -1 power, so... Does 1 damage to any target and 1 damage to me? No. Target creature gains Mountain Walk until end of turn? No. Exile a creature I control for each land. Add 3 red mana. Next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent half that damage rounded down. Exile 2 artifacts. No to Eternal Flame. Destroy target black creature. That would be our second thing that can do that. Makes it super tempting, actually. Like, I'm already considering running that anyway, so... Alright, we can just scroll down. The Dark's the 4th set. Or 5th set. Counting 4th expansion, so... Exorcist. Now, granted, this one can only destroy a black creature and not a black permanent, but still. That does give me a little redundancy there. And does make the Painter's Servant a bit more tempting, actually. And Cleric, it's a 1/1. It's also not horribly overcosted for its stats, you know. A lot of creatures back then would be like 3 or 4 mana for a 1/1 with a potentially useful ability. So, we might be in the market for Felwar Stone since our ramp is going to be artifact based anyway. Alright, Fire and Brimstone, 4 damage, no. Fire Drake, no. Fisher, no. Sacrifice Goblin Digging Team, destroy target wall. Think so. Target Goblin gains protection from white. Yeah, it doesn't seem particularly useful. I don't have enough goblins, even though we are running 8.5 tails, so... Protection from red and banding. Put X01 counters on target creature where X is that creature's mana value. Nope. Martyr's Cry. Maze of Ith. Story target are attached to a creature you control. No. Maze of Ith is a tiny bit tempting, because that means it can stop 2 creatures. It does have to count as a spell, not a land, because it doesn't produce mana. So we're not going to bother with the land denotation in front of it like I normally do. So, for as long as Preacher remains tapped, gain control of target creature of an opponent's choice that they control. So, when I activate Preacher and target a player, I can either target the same player twice. Actually, no, I can't target this. I choose an opponent. Yeah, I choose the opponent, and they choose the creature, and because it's an ability that targets a creature, I get to copy the ability. How does that work if I copy it? Because it's really awkwardly worded for that, so... Because I can't normally choose the target, so does that mean I can't change it? Does Preacher only steal 1 creature if I copy it? The target of the ability is a creature the chosen opponent controls. As the ability resolves as the target creature... The target isn't a creature controlled by the chosen opponent. The ability won't resolve. The ability's target is changed somehow. The new target must be a creature controlled by the chosen opponent. Aha! If the ability's target is changed somehow, the new target must be a creature controlled by the chosen opponent. So I can steal a second creature of my choice from the opponent then? Is tapped is check continually, starting the ability. When you activate the ability, you choose an opponent, then that opponent chooses a creature, or chooses the target. Okay. No, I think Preacher works, and we get to choose the second creature we steal. So, I think we're going to add it to the list, just in case. Just in case we go. See, the problem is I was considering Homeward Path in the other thing because we have the Humble Defector and Yes Man, and there was something else that I could give away for value. Oh, Stark of Wrath. That was the one that made me think of it. So it's although it is my homeward path, I get to decide when I'm using it. So just because it is technically a non-bow doesn't mean I have to. I can wait until it's at its best to do so. It's not like I'll draw the card and be like, well, now I can't play Homeward Path because it's going to just give my opponents their things back. It's like, no, I can still play it and tap it for mana and wait until get the right time. When that creature leaves the battlefield, sacrifice Rune Sword. If the creature deals damage to a creature this turn, the creature dealt damage can't be regenerated. Would die, exile that creature instead. Yeah, if it wasn't going to exile itself, there's a tiny, faint glimmer chance. Tiny, faint glimmer chance. Skull of Orm, don't think so. Sorrow's Pet. Oh man, it targets stuff, right? So I can have it activate twice, and I only take 2 damage, and all of my stuff only takes 2 damage. Yep. Mormod's Crypt. Target creature can't be blocked by walls this turn. Target player reveals a card at random from their hand. If it's a land card, that player discards unless they pay 1 life. If it isn't a land, player discards unless they pay life equal to its mana value. Activate only during your turn. Ugh. Yeah, the Wand of Ith, we already have Muse Vessel and Karn Liberated, and possibly the Disrupting Scepter. So I don't think we also want Wand of Ith because it's not anywhere near as potent as those. Not planning on killing my own War Barge to kill a bunch of my opponent's stuff, so that one's probably not happening. And the Witch Hunter. This is what I mean. This is a 4 mana 1/1. Taps to deal a point of damage to a player or planeswalker, which we can copy. And 1 white tap, bounce a creature an opponent controls. So it's really good at killing tokens and getting rid of creatures that have good statics while they're in play, but terrible against comes into play abilities, although we do have a Torpor Orb already on the list. I just don't know that a 4 mana 1/1 pinger with additional upside. The fact that it has additional upside, because a lot of the pingers are like 3 mana anyway, so if we get the additional upside of being able to control the board a bit better, that might be worth it. Alright, we'll add it to the list just in case. It's 2 white, human, cleric, 1/1. Sorry, is a witch hunter. Not hunter. Hyena? Which hyena? That's where we were going with that one. Which brings us to the Lord of the Rings. Do not need Andoril. Then goblins and orcs gain double strike. Exile target creature. Can't run Barrador. Think we need the Barrow Blade for anything. Has hexproof and can't be blocked. Whenever equipped creature attacks alone, you draw a card and lose a life. Target creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness. That's not really a thing for this deck. Creatures you control gain indestructible. The ring tempts you. Breaking of the Fellowship. Cast into the Fire. Display of Power. Unidane. Put an indestructible counter on another target creature you control. Draw a card if that creature's power is 2 or less. Nope. Eagles. Farmer. No. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature with power X. Activate only as a sorcery. Nope. You control a creature with the greatest power. Make a 1/1. Get an additional attack step. Exile target creature and opponent controls with greater power. I mean, Eowyn's just good as a removal spell. Not doing a ton in the deck, though. Yeah, I suppose not then. Like, she'd be fine as an include. Just as a... Comes into play, exile a creature with power 4 or greater, but... Creatures you control get +1/+1, cost 2 less to activate if you control a legendary creature. Think so. Fall of Care Andros. So for 8 mana, I can deal 14 damage. Chunks of 7. Which makes it a lot easier to overkill an opponent. Or overkill an opponent. Overkill an opponent's creature. Like, if it's an 8/8, we get a 6/6 token for activating. And it would be reduced by 2 for Ertha. Like, I already didn't bother with the Tower of Calamities from Scars of Mirrodin. I don't know that I want a Tower of Calamities that deals less damage but can make tokens. Or make one giant... Well, it makes a token the first time. After that, if the token hasn't died, I just get a bigger token instead of making more of them, so... Do we want the Fall of Karandros? Gamegree, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Fall. We'll add it to the list. I don't think we're going to wind up running it, but... Oh, right. I already added the stone because I didn't want to forget it once I found out it existed. And I didn't want to accidentally gloss over it because it is the graveyard removal spell I was looking for. With so many of them having slightly the wrong wording for what I was trying to do. Yeah, we'll put the fall on there. Fire of Orthanc. No. Description. Fires a Mount Doom. Exile the top. Okay, it exiles the top card of my library and play that card this turn. Deals 2 damage to each player. No. Get +2/+1 and have Ward 1. No. Foray of Orcs. Fog on the Barrow Downs. Turn target equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Anytime you can cast an instant, pay 0. Enters the battlefield or attacks, you may attach target equipment as long as it's your turn. Prevent damage. No. Yeah, don't need Frodo Sauron's Bane. Gandalf the White. No. Get +1/+0. Scry 1. Oh, its owner's library, 5th from the top. Nope. Gimli. His Axe. His Fury. Lamdring. Don't need Gimli's Dad. Fire Leaper gets +1/+0, and yeah, nope. Only a cast legendary, so no Great Hall. Grishnok. No. Q. Hobbit Sting. Or no. 2 more creatures you control attack a player. Look at the top 5 cards, reveal a creature card, rest on the bottom in a random order. Nope. Club, don't need envelope. 2 more creatures you control attack. Target attacking creature without flying gains flying until end of turn. Don't need Lemba Spread. Has first strike as long as it's equipped. Whenever you attack with Mary and another legendary creature, draw a card. I don't think I had quite enough legends for that. It's the biggest issue. I don't need the Mirror of Galadriel. Coat. Raider. Can't run Mount Doom. Oliphant, no. Palantir, no. Don't need the File of Galadriel. Nope. Oh, good old Reprieve. Do I want Reprieve at all? We already have Lapse of Certainty on our list. Do I want Reprieve also? There's always a minor temptation. I literally think I've said this every time when I'm playing a deck that does not have blue that can run counter spells to run the counters that I can run because people just don't expect it and it catches them off guard. And you actually get the tempo out of them not resolving their important spell that turn or breaking up their combo. So it's always a bit tempting. I think Lapse of Certainty is better at that than Reprieve is, because then they have to redraw the spell in order to be able to cast it that turn. So it eats into their mana even more so, but I suppose I will consider Reprieve as I normally do. 1 and a white, instant. Rosie, no. +1/+0 gains first strike. No. Don't need Sam. Another non-token creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield. Create a 1/1 white halfling. Tap 2 other untapped halflings you control. Gets +2/+0 and gains lifelink. Nope. Don't need Shadowfax. Shire Sheriff. Shire Terrace. Slip on the Ring. Might, Soldier, Banditry. Sting. Tap equipped creature. First strike as long as it's blocking or blocked by a goblin or orc. We already have the Stone of Eric on the list. I think I need the Battle of Bywater. We do have a lot of small, like, low power creatures, but that's not, like, a focal point of the deck, so. There's a battlefield, gain protection from everything, lose life equal number of counters on it, put a counter on it, then draw a card for each. We have other card draw effects. I don't think we need the ring. And it's not really on theme for what the deck is doing, so. Your creature gains double strike until end of turn. Nope. The Reaper, Trailblazer Boots, War of the Last Alliance, War Beast, Wizard Rockets, Full Rider. Alright, so that was the Lord of the Rings. Now I think we need to just go straight to Scryfall because of the whatchamacallit set, the Panorama box sets. So there we go, Tales of Middle-earth Commander. So we go by set number. Of the guard or another human enters the battlefield, get +1/+1 in vigilance. Enters the battlefield, become the monarch. Enters the battlefield, get a 1/1. Equipped creature has whenever you gain life, put in, or this creature gets +X/+X, where X is the amount of life gained. Don't need the gaffer for anything. 2-tap, exile another target creature you control. You may return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If you don't, at the beginning of the next end step, return that card under the battlefield under its owner's control with a vigilance counter and a lifelink counter. She's not terrible. Like, blinking my creatures is not the worst, and she's a lot cheaper than Preston is. Was it Preston? No, not Preston. Preston was the one that pays me off for blinking them. There was like a, it was like 5 mana to activate. It was like a Soul Sisters variant, also from Jumpstart. Um, the problem is that we have so few comes into play abilities that I'm actually considering Torpor Orb. So blinking my guys doesn't help much. Like, yes, they can come back with lifelink and vigilance at end of turn, but that's it. That is the extent of her benefits, really. She can make 2 of my creatures dodge a board sweeper, and yeah, it's also not great for what I'm spending anyway. Like, it's not for what I'm spending. It's not worth the card slot in the deck. Is the problem? I don't think. Those reinforcements. That's the one that exiles the graveyard and then gets counters. I don't think we need Gwahir. Or another human enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature opponent controls, and then make a 1/1 on my upkeep. I don't need the herbs and stewed rabbits. Call for aid. X less to cast where X is the greatest number of artifacts and opponent controls. That's that thing. Gimli. Other orcs and goblins you control have trample. It's +X/+O until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. When you when you cycle Rampaging War Mammoth. Destroy up to X target artifacts. The problem is I don't copy the card draw. It's a separate ability. Also, yeah, it's a triggered ability. Never mind. We're not even copying it, so... Oh, there's tons of Modern Horizons 3 spoilers. Hello, Histar. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, I've seen so many so far. Like, almost the whole set's been spoiled at this point. Not almost the whole set. Almost all of the rares and mythics, I think, have been spoiled. We're still missing a lot of the commons and uncommons. Enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it for each other human I control. And yeah, no. Sorry, Yomir. Fourth Aerolingus, no. Create 2 humans, create 2 knights, no. Create 2 2/2s, and it has dash. Go to all creatures your opponents control until the end of your next turn. Creatures can't block. Nope. +1/+1 for each creature you control. Legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control if there is no yeah, we don't want any of the monarchy stuff. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, and give it to somebody. Draw a card. Nope. Attacks. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature defense. No. And we don't need the Model of Unity. Okay, now we need to find the panorama cards. Lands. There are the box toppers. There we go. Send. Equipped creature. No. Have haste. Whenever you attack, if creatures you control have power 4 or greater, our attacking creature you control fights. No. Damage can't be prevented. Damage multiplier. No. You may exert charges as it attacks. Whenever you exert a creature, reveal cards from the top of your library to reveal an equipment card. Not what we're doing. Target creature phases out. If the spell was kicked, each creature a target player controls phases out instead. And it's just a third one of those effects, so no. I'd rather have the one I can convoke and Teferi's Protection. I don't think we need a third one. Each opponent exiles a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. There are 2 more spells in the graveyard. Searing Light deals damage to each opponent equal to the power of the creature they exiled. Cast your second spell each turn, draw a card, then create an 0/3 wall. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control with Defender gain Exalted. Up to 1 target creature you control gains protection from each of your opponents until end of turn, draw a card. If you have 5 or less life, you can't lose life this turn, you can't lose the game, and each opponent can't win the game. Not really anything. Double Cascade. Deals damage to each creature your opponents control equal to the total mana value of spells you've cast this turn. No. And Nazgul Battle Mace. And sacrifices a non-token creature, put that, or non-token permanent rather, put that card onto the battlefield. Yep. So none of that. Alright. It's fine. That was Lord of the Rings. After the Lord of the Rings comes The Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Turn target artifact or non-aura enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield with X counters on it. It's a 1/1 flying spirit. Adaptive Guard, no. Ancestor's Aid. Animpakal. Yeah, I don't think so. Ten of Sunscribe. Barracks of the Thousand Moons. Bat Colony. Belligerent Yearling. Tap 2 other untapped artifacts you control. Oh, right. In order to animate it, or you can crew it. Bone Horde Dracosaur. No. Discard any number of cards and draw that many +1. If you descended, put a boar counter on it. Brazen Blade Master attacks while you control 2 or more artifacts +2/+1. Eye Breaches. Discover 5. No. No. Still don't need cards like Captivating Cave. Minecart, no. 3/3. Child of the Volcano. Schimmel. Search your library for a basic plains card, reveal it, gain 2 life, craft, and then it's the Anthem with the 2 1/1s. Draw a card, put a point counter, then if it has 5 or more, sacrifice it and create treasure. No. Yeah, it's the other half of the flip card from before. Destroy each artifact with mana value X. No. Don't need the Deconstruction Hammer, Diamond Pickaxe, Site Conservator, Dire Blunderbuss. It's an attack trigger, so no, not really. Enters the battlefield under your control, gives +1/+0. The flip side of it is an activated ability that targets a creature, but I don't think we have quite the right number of artifacts to bother with that at all. Alright. How many do we have? As many as 69? Probably not that many, though. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Do actually have a lot of artifacts. Okay, so maybe we do want the dowsing device. How big is it's +X/+O based on your artifacts? That doesn't give haste anymore. Is this actually worth a slot in my deck? I'm inclined to go with no. I thought it gave haste in addition to. Oh no, wait, gains haste and gets +X/+O. Okay, it was kind of buried in the text box there. I was missing it. All right, maybe I'm down for a dowsing device then, if it can actually let me put down a creature and attack with it immediately. Lost Caverns. Because that has a huge power boost potentially, so. Dowsing device. And Geode Grotto. This is 1 in a red for an artifact and a land. Okay. Yeah, I was like, why doesn't it give haste anymore? It's because it's buried in the middle of the text box, and I was looking too close to the end of the text to see it and gains haste until end of turn. It's like, nope, it gains haste and +X/+O. Don't need Echoing Depths, I don't think. Scallywag, Envoy, Favor, tap add white, 2 white tap, exile 1 or more other artifacts you control with total mana value X. No, I don't think so. The Grotto, Appraiser, Get Lost, Fire, no. Target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. That's not doing a whole lot more. Also, it's a 5 mana 3/5. Granted, it has trample, but that's still on the weak side. The target creature gains haste. Don't need the blowgun. Battle of the Deep King. Inti. Yeah, I don't discard a lot of cards naturally, so need Inti for anything. On Runner, Magmatic Galleon, Utsul, Prescribed New. Is exiled from the battlefield while you're activating craft ability, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Nope. Activate only if there are 4 more permanent types among cards in your graveyard. This thing adds mana on the other side, right? That's all it does. Add X mana of any one color. X is a number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Yep. Okay. Don't need Might. Miner's Guidewing. Mischievous Pup. The Axonal is fine with all of the tap to deal a point of damage things that we have. Like, it's just another way to multiply the damage. The only problem is Axonal does less when we have, like, the damage triplers. Or overrides them, unfortunately. Due to specific rules interactions. Yeah, I went over this the last time we were considering Axonal, but it's one of those things that always trips up new players, so if 2 replacement effects are trying to apply to the same event, the way Magic handles it is the person being affected by or the controller of the thing being affected by the replacement effects chooses the order in which they apply, even if you don't, like, even if that player doesn't control any of them. So, Axonal is a replacement effect that changes the damage to be his power if it would be less than that. And things like Emancipation of Fire change the damage to be 3 times as much damage. So, because you're affecting opponents with the damage normally, what happens is they actually get to decide which replacement effect applies to them first, and then see if the other ones still apply. So, if it deals 1 damage, they can apply the triple damage first, which would be 3, and then Axonal would go, well, that's less than me, so I'm going to make it 4 instead. Or if they're not careful, they can accidentally assign it the other way around, but that usually only results from Arena or from people not understanding the rules and thinking the other player gets to assign how the damage is done. So, which would result in them taking 12 damage. But yeah, that's not normally how Axonal is supposed to work. Under the Magic rules, they would apply the triple damage to the 1 point first, and then since it's less than 4, they would take the 4 damage, or they would apply the triple damage to like a 2, which would make it 6, and then Axonal will not kick in. So yeah, and it's always the person being affected or the controller of the or the controller of the thing being affected by the replacement effects that gets to choose the order that they're applied in. So like I said, that always... Oh, I don't put legendary. It's just a god. Sorry, I was distracted by my explanation. But yeah, so Ogier Axonal does not work the way we want it to with damage triplers. And it's always damage multipliers and damage add-ons that are the things that where people learn this effect and get really disappointed / sad inside. Because it's the most common thing is to want to go, oh, well, I'm going to put this in and that makes all of my red sources deal an additional damage, and then I'm going to put this in and that's going to triple the damage, so instead it'll deal 3 extra points of damage. It's like, no, it deals triple damage plus 1, not plus 1 damage and then multiply that by 3. And yeah, it's one of the one of the ones that catches everybody off guard the first time they discover this one, because that is how it works. Um, it works that way for reasons for other things where you would need to be able to apply the replacement effects in the specific order to get the result that you want, that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. But the fact that the opponents get to decide how your damage multipliers and damage addition replacement effects stack is one of the most common ways people run into this rule, and one of the most frustrating and disappointing ones. So when it comes up, I feel the need to just public service announcement that one. Also, most people don't know it works that way and would just go, "Oh, well, I'm taking 12 damage from this 1 point of damage now between Oxonal and the Fiery Emancipation." So, so yeah, that is how damage replacement effects work when they change the amount of damage to be a bigger number. But the reason it has to work that way is because otherwise, if they let it do like one player, like the active player, non-active player thing, and their replacement effects apply first, it might result in situations where it never does anything or always does something when it shouldn't, and so they let the person that's being affected choose how the replacement effects stack, and that results in this one instead. And like I said, this one is like one of the biggest feel bads when you realize that your cool deck with all of your damage multipliers isn't getting every last point of damage that it normally would if you were the one that got to choose how they applied. And because it's all your effects, you would think that it would be you. And yeah. I don't think we need Ojer Talk though. We don't. We have like 5 token makers, so Talk's fine, but not essential. Put a clan landmark, no. Levitator, no. Deals 2 damage to each opponent. Make some treasure token. Poetic Ingenuity. Sing Vein. Sand Whirlpool. That's what I really need. It's like a fetch land from like Battle Bond or something that lets me let somebody else fetch. So that way I can target myself with the activated ability and fetch 2 lands with the activation. Deals 2 damage to each opponent, you gain 2 life. Make a 3/2 spirit, discover 4, exile any number of target cards from your graveyard, add red for each card exiled this way. You may play those cards this turn. No. Sorry, Quinn. Don't need any. Or more accurately, can't run any of these Restless Lands. We can only run the ones from the other set where the enemy color ones come from. Wild's Veldrain. Choose a creature type. Yeah, we're not worried about triggered abilities. We're worried about activated abilities. So, sorry, Roaming Throne. Discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Craft with dinosaurs. The Wanderglyph. Evangelist, no. Monstrosaur, no. Spring-loaded Sawblade. Sunbird Standard. Fire Torch, no. 1 damage to each opponent. So we don't get to copy it. 2 tap, tap target creature, and 8 tap discover 10. Unfortunately, the discover part does not target. So we would be able to tap 2 creatures. We would not be able to discover 10 twice. So that's just kind of disappointing. There's Temple of Power is the other half of Axonal. Oops. Doesn't go there. That's where the land denotation goes. Full of. There you go. All better. Temple of the Dead, the Core, Calendar. Tools, Tomb of Aclazats. I had to read Millennium Calendar, make sure it doesn't target itself with its activated ability, because we might actually be able to get 1,000 counters onto it. 1,000 Moons Crackshot, 1,000 Moons Infantry, cards, life, no, treasure maps, a reprint. Oh, there we go. We could copy Trumpeting Carnosaur's cycle from hand, or channel from hand, to deal 3 damage. That's an activated ability that targets. I don't think so. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Vanguard of the Rose gains indestructible. Tap it. No. Destroy target non-basic land and opponent controls. That player may search the library for a basic land. Warden of the Inner Sky, and Zoyoa's Justice. Nope. Okay. The Lost Caverns of Ixalan Commander. All set. For Lost Caverns of Ixalan, anyway. Although we are coming up to time soon, so let's add this in. Illustrious Wanderglyph. No. Red man only casts instant or sorcery. Craft with 4 more instants and sorceries. And copy one of them at random. Craft with 2 cards that share a type. The next spell you cast this turn of the chosen type can be cast without paying its mana cost. Nope. One or more creatures. Attach to target creature you control. Choose an exile card used to craft it, and becomes a copy of the chosen card. Bronzebeak Forgers enters the battlefield. For each opponent, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until it leaves the battlefield. White and X. Put target card with mana value X exile with Bronzebeak Forgers into its owner's graveyard. You gain X life. Nope. Artifact or creature enters the battlefield untapped and under opponent's control. They may tap that permanent. If they don't, you get a 1/1 lifelink vampire. Like, good, but not anything on theme with the deck. Oh, and my parrot has wandered back here, and he's knocking on the door. Who is it? Stealthy now. I don't think he doesn't talk loud enough usually for the microphone to pick him up, but he's like in the background whispering, "Come here." Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on the Hierophant. Whenever the Hierophant dies, create X/1/1 vampires. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You have your end step, return target creature card of the chosen type from your graveyard to the battlefield with a counter. Enters the battlefield, create X/1/1 vampire creature tokens with lifelink. Beginning of your upkeep, if your devotion to white and black is 7 or greater, make a 4/3 vampire demon. Enters the battlefield or attacks if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers. Return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Alright, Menace Haste. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Deals damage equal to 2 plus the sacrifice permanent's mana value to any target. Activate only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. So, this is an activated ability. So, sacrifice another creature or an artifact. Deal damage equal to 2 plus the sacrifice permanent's mana value to any target. So technically, Broadside Bombardiers does work as a way to, and it does deal 2 damage at least, possibly more so. All right, I might be down for them as a sacrifice outlet. So, commander. Absence. This would be here. Outside. Deers. Is 2 in a red for a Goblin Pirate. 2/2. A Gem Cutter Buccaneer or another pirate enters the battlefield. Create a tap treasure. Treasures are equipment. Dinosaur you control is dealt damage. It deals that much damage. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 in menace. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw 2 cards and discard 2 unless you discard a pirate. Progenetor's icon enters the battlefield. Choose a creature type. No. And these are all the box toppers. Okay. Okay. So we're at 51 minutes. Just out of curiosity, what's the next set after the Lost Caverns? Theros. Yeah, we could do Theros real quick. And start with, like, Beyond Death next time. Split up the Theros sets. Especially since most of the things in here are going to be triggers because of Heroic and whatnot, so I'm not expecting to find too many cards, if any at all, honestly. Steel Archon, Chain to the Rocks, no. Prevent the next 1 combat damage that will be dealt to you this turn. Yeah, Elspeth doesn't target, and she's not really on theme. Top target creature with power 3 or less. A 4-drop 1/2? No. No. Fabled Hero, Fire Drinker Satyr, Flamecast Wheel, no. Sacrifice a land, make a 3/3. Create a 2/1 white Cleric Enchantment token, no. Need the Emissary, the 100-handed one, no. No, don't need Nykthos. Deals. Destroy target enchantment. Nope. Perforos buffs my whole team. He means well, but that's not really doing anything for this deck. And we don't make the tokens necessary for his 2 damage to matter that much. Yeah, he's not on theme is the biggest issue. Like, he's fine in the deck, but destroy target creature that dealt damage to you this turn. So I have to take the hit from 2 separate creatures while leaving up 3 mana. Although if I'm leaving up 3 mana and I'm vulnerable, at least, the opponents have to go, oh, well, maybe I'm going to lose 2 of my creatures for doing this, so it's not as good as attacking somebody else right now. Saving those 2 creatures for later. It's still not amazing. It's not like I have a super go-wide strategy. We might need the Temple of Triumph, though. So, pretty sure temples are still pretty cheap. I could be wrong about that. But when we go for the budget build on this, I want to have good options for our mana, so Vanquish the Foul, Wild Celebrants, Witch's Eye, and Yoke Docks. I mean, if I go through it that fast, we could probably go through, we could squeeze in Theros Beyond Death and start with like Throne of Eldraine next turn or something. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Got 4.5 minutes before we hit the hour mark. Fine if we go a tiny bit over. Target creature or enchantment you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Yeah, but I haven't been running any of these, and it's fine, but not amazing. Like, okay, I get to protect 2 of my things in theory, but that only really helps if the spell has multiple targets or if it's a mass damage effect, so. Like, I'd rather give them indestructible than protection from a color. Deals 1 damage to target creature. That creature can't block this turn. Cool. No, no. Exile enchanted creature. Pay red and 2. Sacrifice a non-land permanent. No. Don't think I need Conquer's Death. Again, a fine removal spell. Plus a way to buy back one of our dead creatures, but. Don't need Sun's Nemesis. Search your library under Graveyard for a card named Sunlit Hoplite. And creatures you control gain flying and +X/+X, where X is your devotion to white. Nah, I don't think so, Elspeth. Sorry. Sorry, Planeswalker deck, Elspeth. Enters the battlefield, search your library or graveyard for a card named Undaunted Hero. Flyer. Player, no. Oh no, don't need Furious Rise. Most of our creatures aren't naturally that big. Although we can buff our creatures that big and then like hang on to the spell as long as we don't have anything. So with Heliod we could like do 2 different creatures have lifelink per activation. It's fine, not great. Will consider Heliod's Intervention. It is one of my favorite mass artifact and enchantment destruction spells of all time, so. Whenever I can kill all the problematic stuff and leave all of my stuff of the same type alive, usually down for that one. Especially when it's not insanely high costed. You know, like, spending 9 mana to kill all of my opponent's creatures while I keep mine is great, but sometimes I need a Wrath I can cast earlier on, so. But something like Intervention, where it's just like, it's 3 mana to kill one, and then an additional mana for each target after that. Like, you can probably kill the 3 or even 4 most important artifacts and enchantments pretty consistently with this thing, and feel really good about it. And it doesn't super matter that you didn't blow up all of the treasures also, because you got to keep, like, your really good artifact or enchantment. Ideal Tutors a reprint. Impending Doom, Incendiary Oracle. No. No. I don't need Labyrinth of Scophos. Mirror Shield. Ex Lotus. Okay, so the activate abilities on all of them is the Scry 2 part, so that's not super helpful. Like, it might actually be more helpful if the activate ability was to deal 2 damage to any target, because then I would get to Scry 2 when it came in and then deal 4. It's the other way around. They put a red creature or artifact creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. No. No, not even kind of what my deck is about. +1/-1 becomes a target of an ability of a land you control named Labyrinth of Scophos. You may have the Maze Warden fight that creature. Nope. I actually kind of forgot he existed. That they actually had a Minotaur that lives in the maze. Don't need Storm Herald for anything. Storm's Wrath. Hoplite. Vigilance and Lifelink, no. Gideon's Fangirl, no. Tectonic Giant, no. Pair of Mount Velis, no. Yeah, don't need any of the sagas. Of Possibility, Thundering Chariot, no. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, gain 3 life, no. Yeah, we don't need Underworld Breach for this deck. And Wrap in Flames. Alright. So, made it up through Theros this time, so we're like 80%, 85% of the way through all the different sets, and we'll be able to start the deck construction soon, so probably by this weekend at this rate, I would think. Alright, well, that's going to do it for me for right now, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.